We have our manufacturing hub out in Delta, British Columbia, building these vacuum microwave machines for deployment around the world. I think we're in 23 countries now. And for this year forthcoming, our run rate on royalty collection should be somewhere north of $2 million.
All right, welcome back inside our proactive newsroom. And joining me now is Brent Charlton. He is the CEO and president of Enwave Corporation. And Brent, it's good to see you. How are you?
You as well. I'm great, Steve.
Good stuff. Good to have you along and good to learn a bit more about what's going on with the company. It's been a little while since you and I had a chance to chat. So maybe just reintroduce yourself and the company to our audience. Tell me about the company.
Sure. Enwave Corporation is commercializing a proprietary dehydration technology using vacuum and microwave, primarily in the food industry, through a licensing royalty business model. So we sell large-scale processing lines to a number of blue-chip food manufacturers like Calbee and Dole, and we've had to deal with the U.S. Army. So we've got 54 different licensed partners who have bought these pieces of equipment based on the value proposition of the technology and are paying us royalties currently.
Yeah, and so obviously with that type, it's you have a large facility that you operate, and a lot of work goes on at that facility.
Yeah, we have our manufacturing hub out in Delta, British Columbia, building these vacuum microwave machines for deployment around the world. I think we're in 23 countries now. And for this year forthcoming, our run rate on royalty collection should be somewhere north of $2 million. And last time we spoke, we were, sort of around like the $500,000 a year royalty generation mark. And what really excites me on a go-forward basis here the next 12 months is the quality of adopters. So we're talking blue chip, household name food companies who are currently evaluating our technology. And we're hopeful that they're going to be committing to us in a more material fashion through large-scale machine purchases in 2025.
Yeah, Brent, has the focus of the company changed more on that part of the business, or is it producing? Because I remember back when you and I talked before, you were producing stuff for your own label. So tell me a bit about how the business has evolved.
Absolutely. So back in, call it 2014, we started our own operating subsidiary to prove out the technology's merits. We did not have any large-scale commercial lines deployed, no operating history to speak of. So as you could imagine, very difficult to sell a design versus taking folks through an actual facility and showing them it works. And so that operating subsidiary served its purpose. That led to multiple new machine sales. And in the past few years, we've really refocused the strategic go-forward path for Enwave, and that we are concerned primarily with selling machines and building out our diversified royalty portfolio.
Yeah. Let's talk about you mentioned the clients that you have, all blue chip clients. You mentioned the U.S. military, things like that. How does the process work? Do they come to you and say, here's what we need, and then you design off of that? Or maybe you can explain the process to us.
Very, very close collaboration and development, deployment of pilot scale machinery to all of the development hubs, R&D centers for the U.S. Armed Forces. They find certain military rations in which they want to include within their programming. And then we recruit an industry partner, in this case, a company called Bridgford Foods, to actually produce the rations to then be included into their system. In this case, it's cheesecake. Of all things that the U.S. Army is going to be bringing to their war fighters, it's going to be a shelf-stable, chewy cheesecake, and we're happy about that.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about what's ahead for the business. I know, obviously, we're heading into the closing out of 2024 and into 2025. So what can people expect from Enwave?
Robust pipeline of blue chip potential adoptees of the technology. We have close to 30 different projects we're working on closing in fiscal 25. For us to close even a fraction of those would be a remarkable uptick in performance for our business financially. And so we were just going to continue to focus on one-by-one machine deployment, increase in our diversified royalty portfolio, and ultimately rewarding our shareholders when we get to the point where that royalty pool can cover all of our expenses in the business, which is about $4.5 million.
Well, it sounds like it's an exciting time for you and the company, and congratulations on the new line that you're doing. It sounds like it's really successful so far, and we look forward to continuing to follow the story. Okay, Brent?
Thanks, Steve.
All right, Brent Charlton, the CEO of Enwave Corporation.